Hi, my name is Amanda Joyce, and I am a junior at Great Falls Central Catholic High School. I was the City Grand Prize winner of the C.M. Russell 5th grade essay contest back in 2015. When I first started writing my essay, I was super overwhelmed. The task seemed so daunting. I had no knowledge of who Charlie was or anything about his art. I had never heard of the guy. But as I began doing my research and learning more about him, I realized that he's just a storyteller, and he loved to use the things around him and the events in his life to influence his art. And it's important to learn about someone like that because he influences so many artists. He influenced people of his time and continues to influence people today, and just remind them to be storytellers and to tell stories through their art. Like most of us, Charlie had some amazing friends. So let's go look at one of Charlie's closest friends. Charlie's love for creativity and imagination did not just influence his artwork, but also his friendships. Charlie was super close to Josephine Trigg. They had a friendship in which they encouraged and inspired each other's creativity. There is an entire section in the museum dedicated to Josephine Trigg's own collection of art. And this collection of art is foundational to the museum in their mission to collect, preserve, and interpret the art and life of Charles M. Russell. This collection includes 150 works of paintings, drawings, sculptures, illustrated letters, and poems. And all of these things were collected by Josephine and her parents over time. This collection just shows the fruitful friendship Russell had with the Triggs and overall shows the importance of friendships. Both Charlie and Josephine loved to read. Josephine would read tales of adventure, poetry, and fantasy to Charlie in his studio while he worked. The stories oftentimes sparked Russell's creativity, and this is seen in some of his plaster models and watercolors. For Christmas, Russell would oftentimes give Josephine a work of art, while she would give him a book for his collection. Charlie didn't like to write. He had dysgraphia, a close cousin to dyslexia. But Charlie could read real well and enjoyed it, but he was not especially good about getting all of the information in his head onto paper when he was writing. So when he wanted to write a letter, he would oftentimes take up half of the page with writing and leave the other half for him to go back later and add some of his art. And Josephine collected many of these types of letters over the years of their friendship. Charlie would also add his artwork to the envelopes of his letters. Anyone who wrote to Charlie would usually receive a letter back, not very promptly, but would receive one back with either artwork on the envelope or the letter. This piece is called Here's to Old Timers, and it was done by both Josephine and Charlie. Now, Charlie wanted to write a poem to his friend Robert Vaughn in celebration of all the pioneers that helped build Montana, but he didn't have great handwriting, and he wasn't comfortable writing. Josephine, on the other hand, had beautiful handwriting skills, and she was very talented in calligraphy. So as Charlie read his poem out loud, Josephine would copy it down with her handwriting. Charlie then went back using his gifts and his talents to add watercolor drawings to the sides and between the stanzas. And this is just one of the many examples of ways that Charlie and Josephine helped out each other and inspired each other's creativity.